Having huge, powerful, strong arms will make or break your physique. This is one of the most noticeable muscle groups, especially if you're wearing a singlet. A lot of people notice your arms. It's kind of the only muscle group that people look at when you're out in public if you're wearing a singlet. And it's also a muscle group which has been proven to be super attractive and will make you look so much more strong and actually really bring out your physique a lot better. And so if you're lacking in your arm development, it's just really going to hinder your physique. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can build strong, powerful arms that really make you stand out. So step number one, if you want to build really strong, powerful arms, is to just get stronger on key lifts. So hypertrophy and muscle growth is directly correlated with your strength. So if you're not aiming to get stronger and progressively overload, then nothing else is going to matter. It doesn't matter how many times a week you trained. It doesn't matter how intensely you trained. If you didn't increase the weight and you're not getting stronger and increasing either the rep range that you're doing for the same weight or increasing the weight, then you're just not going to put on more muscle. So the first point, it's really essential to focus on progressively overloading and getting stronger each time you go to the gym. So for some key movement for arms, this might be for your triceps, your close grip bench press, or your tricep extensions. You can do an overhead dumbbell extensions or push downs. I also like to do dips as well. And just getting stronger, increasing the weight and the tension that your muscles are under, this is really going to lead to building up that muscle. So same thing with biceps. Some of my favorite exercises are the pull-ups and the chin-ups. Even though this primarily works your back, it'll work your biceps very, very well. It's going to hit both heads. And then also just standard bicep curls where you're kind of twisting in at the bottom of the movement. And so you can get really strong on some of these key exercises. Then this is going to really help you just build up that muscle in your arms and really build up those arms really, really well. So the next point is to eat at maintenance or just in a slight surplus. So if you're eating below maintenance, then you're not getting enough nutrition, nutrients, and you're not getting enough calories to actually support the maximum amount of muscle growth you can create. So therefore, you should eat at around maintenance levels or maybe slightly above this, just to play it safe, just to make sure that you're consistently getting enough nutrition. So one way which you can make sure that you're eating at maintenance is, I'd recommend if you want to bulk up as fast as possible and put on more size to your arms as quickly as possible, pick a weight that you want to get to and multiply this by 15. So this is what the amount of calories that you're going to be aiming for every day from now on. If you can hit this consistently, you're going to continually start to build on muscle and you're going to get up to that weight very quickly. Another way you can do this is to just figure out your maintenance, and you can do that just by weighing yourself every morning, seeing if your weight's going up or down. And if your weight's continually going up slightly each and every day, then you're probably putting on more muscle and you're probably at maintenance or in a slight surplus. So I highly recommend just doing a slight surplus of 100 to 200 calories per day. Anything above this, you're just going to put on excess fat. It's not going to help you build more muscle at all. It's just going to all go to fat. However, you do need to be eating enough calories to support that muscle growth. And also make sure that you're sourcing these calories from natural, organic, sustainable, really healthy food sources that are dense in macro and micronutrients. So these are things like steak, butter, chicken, eggs, raw honey, raw milk, olive oil, butter. If you can really source all of your diet from these whole, nutritious meals, this is also really going to help just support that muscle growth in your body as well. Moving on from that, you should be training each muscle group 2 times per week if you want to get optimal results. So for arms, you should really be hitting these 2 times a week. So I normally have 2 upper body days, and on one of the days, you can actually hit your arms really well by just doing heavy compound movements. So these are things like heavy presses, heavy inclines, which are going to build up your shoulder and your chest. However, they also really work your triceps as well. And then also just doing a pull-up or chin-ups, which are weighted resistance. These are really going to help to build up your arms as well. And then on one of the other days, I would put in an isolation movement. You could either do close grip bench press, you could do push downs or extensions for triceps, and then I'd throw in some bicep curls as well. And so if you can consistently keep hitting the muscle groups 2 times per week, this is going to mean that as soon as your muscles finished recovered and you've got your strength back and you're ready to go again, you're just hitting that muscle again. So you're not leaving any time in between. So therefore, this is going to really help you build up as much muscle and size in your arms as possible in a short amount of time. My next point is something which quite a lot of people actually get wrong, And this is to do with the amount of volume that you're putting in terms of rep ranges. So if you're someone who likes doing high reps, 15 to 20 reps, and you get that pump and you get that swelling in your muscles, and you end up leaving the gym really tired and really sore, compare that to someone who just does 5 to 10 reps and only does 2 or 3 sets per muscle group, and then leaves the gym still feeling kind of energized. Who do you think had the most productive workout? It's most commonly thought by a lot of people that the most productive workout is the one where you leave the gym fully tired and you've really expended all your energy in the gym, whereas that's actually completely false. It's been proven that doing high rep ranges, it actually just causes a lot more fatigue, and it doesn't cause any benefit because the amount of mechanical tension you're placing the muscles under is going to be a lot lower. This is because in order to get to these high rep ranges, you need to drop the weight. So when you get to the really effective reps at the end of the set that really matter, which is generally the last 5 reps leading up to failure, the weight is going to be lower, so the load you're putting on your muscles is going to be lower, and therefore the overall mechanical tension and stimulus you're going to get from your muscles is just going to be severely decreased. So that's why going these high rep ranges, the fatigue to stimulus ratio is really poor. Once you get to those weights, the reps that really matter, you don't have much weight on the muscle. So this is why these are actually very unproductive. It's actually a lot better to go low rep ranges. So go between 5 to 10 reps. If you can do this, you're going to find that you're not going to get as much of a pump, but your muscle density is going to really improve. You're going to be a lot fuller, your muscles are just going to look a lot harder and a lot better. And this is just really going to lead to that long-term, long-lasting muscle growth. So it's really important that you keep the rep ranges low. This is really the most productive range, 5 to 10 reps, and don't go above this. If you can stick it between 5 to 10 reps, you're going to find that you're going to consistently put a ton of mechanical tension on that muscle, and your arms are just going to grow super fast. The last point is to do with how you're going to structure your training. So a lot of people think that if you want to build bigger arms, you can just add some arm movements to the end of your workouts, and you just keep on adding and adding on. Whereas this actually doesn't help you at all. This is because if you keep adding on exercises to the end of your routine, what's going to happen is you're just going to build up far too much fatigue, and your body's ability to actually break down this muscle and actually recover and go through the hypertrophy process is going to be severely hindered. It's going to be too much stress on your body, too much stress on your nervous system, and therefore your body's ability to recover is compromised, which means that when you next go into the gym and you hit the same muscle groups, it's very likely that you're actually not going to be fully healed and fully recovered. So your ability to hit PRs and to continually increase your strength and progressively overload is going to be compromised because of this. So it's very important to understand that if you want to improve your arms, I'd recommend restructuring your workout around your arms. So that means that on upper body days, you can have these movements which hit your triceps and your biceps. Put them at the front of your workout so that when you're the most fresh, when you've got the most energy, you're hitting these muscles. That's just going to lead to you being able to put more stress on the muscles, increase the weight that you have on the muscles because you're less fatigued, and it's going to lead to total overall muscle growth for your arms. It also means that you might have to just take out some volume away from the other muscle groups. So you kind of need to shift it around. It's sort of like a jigsaw puzzle where you can't just keep adding on and adding on. But if you can take some volume away from some of the other muscle groups and maybe add another set or another couple exercises to your biceps and your triceps, this is going to mean that you're really going to be able to propel your progress forward because you're not bringing over fatigue from other muscle groups. So this is how I would generally structure my workout. Don't put your arms at the end of a leg day like some people do, because like I said before, you're not giving yourself enough time to recover, and there's no extra benefit to hitting a muscle group 3 times a week. You max out at 2 days a week, and if you do that like some people do and hit it 3 days a week by doing arms at the end of, say, your leg session, for example, or just doing it on a rest day, then you're actually going to compromise the hypertrophy process and your muscles' ability to actually rebuild and recover and come back stronger. So one final tip with biceps to remember is that if you keep changing up the grip every 4 to 6 weeks, this is actually going to consistently help you to hit the muscle fibers and the different muscle fibers in your biceps a little bit better. So you can normally have a neutral grip. Maybe you can do this for 1 day out of the 2 upper body days, and then for the other day you could have the standard grip where you're coming in like this, or another day you could have a pronated grip where your hands are like that. And I found that once you do this and once you switch up the grip every 4 to 6 weeks or so, I found that it actually starts to hit your muscle fibers a little differently in your biceps, and it recruits a lot more muscle fibers. So therefore, your ability to actually grow your biceps is going to improve. Another point to note is that it's important to remember that 2/3 of your arms are actually your triceps. So I'd probably put a little bit more emphasis on your triceps as you do on your biceps, just because they take up a larger portion of your arms, and these are the muscles that actually really stand out a lot more. So if you can implement these tactics into your workout routine, this is really going to help build up your arms so much more. They're going to be so much more noticeable, and you're going to find that they're just going to pop out and look so much better in your physique, which is really going to make you stand out.